France was at the epicenter of a cinematic earthquake in the 1960s. The young filmmakers of the French New Wave had ripped up the rulebook, pointing the way towards a more modern, personal style of filmmaking. Budding directors the world over were watching. The secret is that while French cinema of the 70s may lack the flash and dazzle of the previous decade, it continued to reap both huge critical acclaim and commercial success. Box office stills rang loudest, however, for the 1974 release of Emmanuel, a landmark softcore porn movie that became a crossover sensation for men and women alike. Channel Voyager Celebrity presents 10 great French films of the 1970s. Number 10. La Rupture. The cycle of films that Claude Chabrol made with his then wife Stephen Ordon in the late 1960s and early 70s are some of the most unsettling and ambiguous thrillers you will ever see. Take La Rupture, which begins in heart-stopping fashion. After a demented husband interrupts his wife and child at breakfast to violently throw the baby across the room. He must be the villain of the piece, right? No. Wait until you meet his own slimy father, who blames Helen for her husband's mania and will stop at nothing to regain custody of his grandchild. Number 9. La Cercle rouge. With a brilliantly tense robbery sequence in a Paris jewelry shop that sustained over 30 nail-biting minutes without a word of dialogue. The penultimate film made by French noir master Jean-Paul Melville has a strong claim to the title of the greatest ever heist movie. Alain Delon takes the lead as the trench-coated burglar who gets wind of a chink in the store's elaborate security system and sets out to take advantage the moment he is released from jail. Joining Delon on the wrong side of the law are escape con Jean-Marie Vollant and alcoholic marksman Yos Montan, while Angry Bull is the dog lawman on their trail, as grimly set on his chosen path as they are. Number 8. We Won't Grow Old Together. Maurice Pellet's searing 1968 debut in fans knew promised much, and he spent the 70s delivering on it, turning his attention to terminal illness in La Gueule over at 1974, Disaffected Youth passed on back the abroad 1978, and in 1972's Nous de Villeneuve's Pass in Sable, the disintegration of a marriage. This run of films has rarely been equaled for their unvarnished dramatization of how people fractiously go about life together. Number 7. Day for Night. There is no better way to understand the fundamental difference in temperament between Prophet and Godard, those two key figureheads of 1960s French film, than in comparing their movies about movie making. In the red corner, there is Godard's film suit melodrama La Méprise, 1963, astringent, fractured, despairing. In the blue, 10 years later, came Prophet's Day for Night, still cynical about the industry, but affectionate and forgiving about the vain talents who make their careers in it. Number 6. The Mother and the Whore. Critic David Thompson called Jane Austen's nearly 4-hour feature debut, The Mother and the Whore, a dark, vaguely perceived beast on the edge of polite society. Locked in an interminable rights dispute, this monumental, sexually frank drama remains difficult to see or properly get to know, remaining in the shadows while even Jack Rivet's legendary 30-hour Out One 1971 has since seen the light of the day on DVD. Number 5. Immoral Tales. Police animator and director Roland Brozowski began to part company with the critics, who had lauded pictures such as Go to Island of Love 1969 and Blanche 1971, with this sexually explicit collection of 4 erotic stories set throughout history. But while critics washed their hands of him, Immoral Tales was a massive hit when it was released in Paris. The title cheekily calls to mind Eric Rohmer's 6-film series of moral tales. So it's apt that Rohmer's favorite Fabric Lucchini takes center stage in the first story, as the young Shud who coaxes his beautiful cousin into giving him head as the tide comes in on a remote beach. Number 4. Celine and Julie go boating. This fantastical epic begins in a Paris park in summertime, as magical a place as any. Julie is sat on a beach reading a book of spells when she sees a woman, Celine, dashing by dropping belongings in her wake. When she follows, like Alice in pursuit of the white rabbit, so begins a strange adventure that leads ultimately, and with the help of some magic sweets, to bizarre old house where the pair witness a murder mystery playing out over and over again. Number 3. That object of desire. Spanish director Luis Buñuel once claimed he never missed his daily martini. And you wonder whether such rigor can explain his extraordinary creative longevity. Nearly 50 years after his career began with the scandalous Cercle short Un Chien Andalou 1929, it came to a close, his wit undimmed, with the delicious that obscure object of desire. This was the culmination of terrific late run of films that he made in France, collaborating with screenwriter Jean-Claude Carrier, also including Belle de Jour and the Oscar-winning The Discreet Charm of the Burgess, adapted from a novel by Pierre Lois. It stars Fernando Rey as an aging French gentleman Matthew, who recounts his frustrating love affair with a Spanish flamenco dancer Conchita, who keeps blowing hot and cold on his affection. Number 2. Peppermint Soda. Diane Curris was one of a number of French women directors who emerged during the 70s, alongside Nelly Kaplan, Colin Serrault, and Nadine Trendigard. Newly released on Blu-ray and DVD, her debut feature Peppermint Soda is ripe for rediscovery. A coming-of-age movie that offers a welcome girl-centered answer to classic French boyhood picks, such as Les Quatre Saint-Cops 1959 and Les Enfants Nus. Set in 1963 with The Great Escape and Alain Resnais's mural competing at the local cinemas, it charts the growing pains of two sisters at a strict school in Paris. The younger, Anne, experiences her past period, while her sibling, Frederick, navigates her political awakening and attraction to an older man. Number 1. Percival. Arthurian legends enjoy a cinematic comeback in the long hair era. From Camelot 1967 to Monty Python and the Holy Grail 1975. Not one but two major French authors got in one on the action. First, Robert Bresson with the typically pared back Lancet Dulac 1974, and then French New Wave veteran Eric Romer with the one-of-a-kind Pascal de Galais. Inspired by Quentin de Troyes' epic 12th century romance Percival, the story of the Grail, it features Fabric Lucchini as the eponymous Knight of the Round Table, retelling his story, complete with chorus, against a succession of hyper-stylized storybook backdrops that serve to emphasize the mythicality of Percival's adventures.